Hello and welcome to the Medical Sales Podcast. I'm your host, Samuel, founder of a revolutionary medical sales training and mentorship program called the Medical Sales Career Builder, and I'm also host of the Medical Sales Podcast. In this podcast, I interview top medical sales reps and leading medical sales executives across the entire world. It doesn't matter what medical sales industry, from medical device to pharmaceutical to genetic testing and diagnostic lab, you name it, you will learn how to either break into the industry, be a top 10% performer within your role, or climb the corporate ladder. Welcome to the Medical Sales Podcast. And remember, I am a medical sales expert sharing my own opinion about this amazing industry and how it can change your life. TJ, please share with the audience, who are you and what do you do?
No, Samuel, thank you so much for asking that question. I want to be intentional about answering it. And I reflect on this often. What am I paid to do as a job? And it's not really a job, it's a career, but it's evolved to a calling. And my calling now is to impact and influence. And really, I get compensated to be the best person that I can be. How can I model, leadership? How can I model an outside perspective that goes well beyond product? How can I coach someone day in and day out, whether they're on my team or not, to be the best version of themselves? Well, the first step is to be able to lead myself, model that type of activity, and then hold that standard. And challenge is the wrong word. A lot of time we hear challenge yourself, but it's impact and influence to think about the world around us a little bit differently. So obviously I use LinkedIn to do that and to anchor myself on gratitude, but really growth mindset. And growth mindset it's tough because it's not always positive. It is focused on there's somewhere that I'm trying to get to, and it may be uncomfortable. And we think about the trees that are all around us. When do they actually grow? Most people would say, oh, when the sun is shining. And that's not the truth. It's when it's cold and when it's dark and when there's no water. And the root system has to go deep, deep down to the water tree for it to stabilize. And then spring comes and that's when we notice, oh, it's tree's green now. But the growth happens in the dark, in the cold, in the worst of conditions. So why do I anchor on positivity? Why do I call my calling to help others see that within themselves? Well, that's what leadership is about. It's about being able to see the big picture, see the full board, and help people understand in this sales game, there's going to be highs and lows. Sure. So hopefully that's sufficiently.
That's a robust answer if I've ever heard one. Come on. Thank you. So what about your specialty in the space that you work in?
Man, it's people. I think when you start to take a step back, we've got people, and that's understanding what motivates them, what drives them. In sales, it could be the financial piece. It could be seeing patients succeed. Sure. It could be career success and growth, or it could be a blend of all three of those all at once. But if we understand what type of people we're dealing with, both in terms of the people we work with and the people that are helping patients, that's one aspect of it. And then there's process. How are we refining ourselves year in and year out to continue to grow and evolve? And the last piece, and this is really, really important, is performance. Far too often we focus on performance first when it's a lagging indicator. And a lot of people are like, what are you talking about? And it's like, okay, if you start in a job and you're at 120%, did you influence that number?
Right.
The answer is no. Right. You came into a space that it's like Dennis Rodman joining the Bulls. They were already championship level organization. You just did your part to ensure that they stayed at that level. Right. So that's what I look at. What type of people are around me? How can I communicate in a way that's going to allow them to be the best version of themselves? What is my process? I'm going to inspect what I expect. As I continue to do that, now I can change and shape the world around me. And again, the performance, if I'm doing the right things and working with the right people and the process is strong, right? Again, the performance is going to be, it's going to be, the proof is in the pudding.
100%. So TJ, tell us your title and the current space that you work in with that title.
So I'm a regional business director for our cardiology business across Wisconsin and Illinois. We cover the coronary therapy space. So think coronary artery disease, as well as our structural heart business, which is more aortic stenosis. So if we're thinking about the valves within the heart, and the heart being a pump system, we've got technologies to help prevent against stroke. And simultaneously, we've got imaging technology to be able to see the vessels to understand if it's calcium or any type of morphology that would cause that pump system to be inefficient. So my goal and what I'm really bullish on is getting the people that we work with to understand see, prep, treat. And from a see, prep, treat standpoint, the most important thing we can do is see what it is that is going on so that we can offer the right solution at the right time.
Got it. So if somebody is listening to this right now and is thinking, wow, I love what he just said. I want that. I want to work in that space. What title exactly are they looking for?
So right now, I would say any associate territory manager type role or any territory manager type opportunity would be something that I would want to explore.
In what?
In our interventional solutions, interventional cardiology business.
Interventional. So they'd have to specifically look for interventional cardiology solutions.
You've got it.
Got it. So with your team, how many products are you guys selling? And you don't have to give us an exact number, but just generally speaking.
A lot. It's the most robust portfolio that I've had access.
Give us a number. There's people listening to this that have no idea what that means.
100 SKU numbers plus.
100 SKU numbers. Okay.
Because we've got tons of different stents, different catheters, different guide wires. The number one thing that we sell is our expertise in the cath lab space and working with the interventional cardiologists in general. And what is most important is how our team shows up. Because you can have a hodgepodge of products. It's irrelevant if you're not able to help them.
How your team shows up. Exactly. And we're gonna dive into that. But I want people to understand the team dynamic and how you sell 100 different products, aka how you sell 100 different SKU numbers. So I want you to just kind of remember, TJ, there's a lot of people listening right now that they just don't know. So I want you to kind of walk through what's a SKU number, what does that represent, and how is someone that has no idea how this works supposed to understand how you as a sales rep effectively sell 100 different products?
So the number one thing is we don't actively sell 100 different products. We know in our back pocket, we have a robust portfolio, the most robust portfolio in the industry. Now, what does that mean? Let's go all the way back to somebody that doesn't know anything about med device sales. We can take me, for example. My first med device interview went so poorly, and it was with Stryker, by the way. It went so poorly, I blocked the interview out of my mind. It didn't happen. I was on Northwestern's campus. It was a career day, and it didn't go well.
Sure.
I wasn't prepared. I could tell I wasn't impressive. I'm like, man, I thought my background, I thought they'd be begging to get me started. It didn't go that well. So that said, what are we looking for? And this is company agnostic. Doesn't matter. What is any hiring leader looking for when they bring someone in? There are three things, and they're not going to tell you this, but these are the three things. Number one, this person believes in themselves. Number two, they work well with others. Number three, they represent the company. They represent physician partners. They represent patients in an impeccable manner. So let's go back to the first one. If you don't believe in yourself, this is not the space for you. You have to have confidence. You have to be bold. Getting on a podcast like this when it's like, oh, my peers may listen. People that don't know anything about med device may listen.
Right.
Again, you got to believe in yourself. You got to believe that you can impact change. Now, if you don't know anything about anything, you have to be able to build relationships with the people who do. And that's what I find. I've been able to transition from pharma to med device, from startup, smaller companies to big companies. And what have I found? The people who work well with others, bar none, they do the best. The top sellers, they have people that are selling for them when they're not in the OR or not in the cath lab. So working well with others is a criteria that you want to be able to check that box. And here's what I mean specifically. You get real world information when you need it from people who are credible. The average person that applies for a med device job, they do the research on their own. whether it's Chat GPT or it is Google, and they think, oh, here's all I know everything that I can about. I give you an example. Watchman is a blockbuster product for us. Oh yeah, I know everything about Watchman. Well, that's not the division that my team is a part of. We're a part of the cardiology group, but a different product altogether. How do we create an avenue where that person has a fighting chance, if they don't know much about cardiology, to really understand what our reps are up against or what our customers are up against? Obviously, collaborate well and talk to people who are in that space, who may have decades of experience that can tell you, here's where the space is headed, here's how we can grow and evolve, here's what somebody coming in could do to separate themselves. So we'll start there, as those are the three criteria that anyone looking to get into the space needs to be able to do. Notice within that, I didn't say have a ton of knowledge about products. We have to have a ton of knowledge about the challenges that our customers are looking to solve and the disease states that they're actively working in.
Sure. So walk us. Okay. So yes, that's great foundational setup. That framework is perfect. And I hope those listening are taking notes. Now take us further though. So you still have 100 products you could sell. And I love how you clarified you're not actively selling 100 products. You just have the ability to, I guess, call on 100 products. But what does it actually look like? What is an interventional cardio rep on TJ's team? What are they doing? When they're getting into the field, are they trying to set up new opportunities to talk about the 100 products? Are the 100 products kind of already known? Are they kind of identifying, well, we only talk about these 20 products over here, but these 10 products are kind of give us a little insight into what's actually happening?
Yeah. So depending on what our customer cares about, because it's about helping doctors help people, that's first and foremost. So what is their lane to be able to do that? Once we understand that, are they big on imaging? So IVUS, do they look at these images? Are they concerned with image quality? What is it that they're actively trying to do? And how is it that we can bring value to speak a language that they care about? Because far too often it's easy to say, I've got this new shiny toy, but why would you use the new shiny toy? What are you currently doing for patients that have an ailment that routinely you have an algorithm in place? So it's really a two-way dialogue to understand it might not even make sense for us to work together. Now, obviously, I'm here because I believe in myself and I collaborate well and I represent you and your patients in an impeccable manner. That's what your peers would tell you. But I want to make sure I'm in it to make sure that this is a effective partnership. Notice not efficient, effective, because we're here to disrupt the way you're currently doing things
not
to get you to the better outcome.
Effective. We're here to disrupt. Okay.
Now, it takes a great deal of confidence, and you have to be at a certain level in your career to know that's actually what's happening. And far too often we anchor on, hey, doc, this is going to be faster. But why do I care that it's going to be faster if I feel like my result is very good right now? There's some risk in me trying to go faster and not getting the outcome that I would expect. Sure. So it's really carving out a lane where we could work together. And it makes sense. We both agreed that this makes sense for us to even work together in the first place. So a lot of it is understanding we're not here to work with everyone. But most people's mindset is, I'm here to work with everyone. Right. And remember when I talked about the 4 languages, strategic language number 3, I need to know there's some people that I should be focusing my time on and others that maybe it's not the right time because I've got a new technology and I got to be cognizant of making sure I get it in very experienced operator's hand. And this and is key. And they're going to listen. Because I've been in the startup space where there's some people that they're going to do it their way and outcomes, whatever happens in the first 10 to 100 cases, it really, really matters in terms of the market's reaction to how well this product is going to be received. So a lot of it is that dialogue internally and then externally with the customer. So it's more psychology than it is the X's and O's of going in and tactically selling. A lot of it is making sure we partner with the right people.
Okay, no, that makes a lot of sense. So with your space, then, is there a certain type of physician that is the best type of physician to talk to when it comes to your space?
Yeah. The first thing I would say is someone that is anchored in something that we can truly relate to and understand. So whether that's clinical data or clinical outcomes, or being open to doing something a little bit different, looking to accomplish a specific goal.
So
Because we
there's
want
no
to.
okay, but there's no like this type of surgeon versus that
No, from an
it
interventional
depends.
cardiology space,
It
we want to
depends. It
focus
really
on,
depends.
because we have such a robust portfolio,
Sure.
there's a reason for us to be in any cath lab, because they could pull any of our SKUs. They could pull one of our guide wires or one of our catheters for a variety of different reasons. But the question becomes, when we're there working with them, is there something that we can actively do to help elevate patient care and patient outcomes? And there are some people where the definitive answer is yes, absolutely. It may be working with the cath lab staff to get them educated on some of the imaging techniques, where we just got a class 1A indication for imaging.
Sure.
How do we help drive that message home to get them from a point where they're imaging 25% of the time to perhaps 75% plus?
Sure.
A lot of it is understanding where they're at in their journey and then going along that ride with them to partner every step of the way.
No, that's okay. So this is the perfect segue. So, brand new rep on TJ's team. For some reason, TJ has decided to hire someone that has no experience whatsoever. They just learned what the heart is. So now they've been trained the beginning training that every rep gets that joins Boston Scientific and gets on TJ's team. They've been trained, and they're in the field first day, and they're at the new hospital account that does not know them at all. What are you expecting that rep to say, and who are you expecting that rep to track down to say it to?
So, number one thing, I'm expecting that rep to come in with a goal and a mission to make healthcare better. And sometimes we do that through understanding, where is this lab at? What do they actually even care about? Let's step away from Boston Scientific. There's a reason why those jerseys are turned around. Jersey doesn't say Northwestern, it says Jones, which is my last name. I'm a representative of whatever team I'm a part of. So I want that rep to represent themselves in a professional yet inquisitive manner, to where they go in with some curiosity.
Okay.
Hey, I'm new rep. I work with XYZ team. I heard some great things about your lab. I looked at the annual report. I see that you guys are looking to grow when it comes to A, B, C, D, E, F, G. How did you come to that conclusion that that's where you want to grow?
Who are they talking to?
They might be talking to the interventional cardiologist. They may be talking to the cath lab manager. They may even be talking to somebody within that cath lab. But the goal is, how do I show up and meet people where they are? I'm not coming in trying to push anything,
Sure.
other than understand what it is you're looking to accomplish.
Yep.
And then once we have that human level, I call it AI. I know your attitude and investment into the space,
Yeah.
I'd be happy to share my attitude and investment into the space.
Sure.
But it's not to push, again, a product. I want a relationship. I want a partnership that is built on me understanding who you are and you understanding who I am. So day one, I'm just looking to learn. Hey, I'm brand new to this space. I wanted to come make myself available and see if I can observe what you guys have going on here.
Got it.
That's it.
TJ, I'm putting a disclaimer out right now that this AI attitude investment, I am stealing that. If you see a post in the near future, I stole that from you, but I like it. I'm going to do something with that. But no, thank you for that. No, that's very insightful. And now it makes me actually want to ask. So let's talk about it. Do you hire 100% green folks to your team?
No. Now, let me tell you why. Because I just told you the three things I'm looking for. You got to believe in yourself, and you got to collaborate well with others. And then you got to represent all these different arenas in a very positive manner. So that's not a green person. That's somebody that's actually pretty savvy. And
Okay.
again, think about if we weren't talking about healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
You pick a topic. Let's say it's restaurants, or let's say it's a sports team. What did I already highlight? I highlighted people. I highlighted process, performance. I didn't say products. I said those three things specifically. Why? Because people, if they know that they have what it takes and then they partner well with others, and notice I did not say they must be liked. They know how to collaborate, though. That piece, that would make you already someone that's not green, because that's what the space needs. And that's how you see some people able to transition from neuromodulation to cardiology. It's less about the disease state and about the technologies. It's more about the human element. So somebody that has the right stuff, that's what I'm looking for. And that's not a green person. That's a talented person that will learn what they need to learn to make an impact.
Okay, so maybe it's the semantics I'm using then, because what I'm saying is, will you hire someone to your team that's never ever been in medical sales?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I meant by green person. I'm talking about a green person to the medical sales industry. So that's on me. I didn't define it well. So okay, so you're saying you do hire green people to your team.
I have in the past, provided they're able to build relationships on the front end.
Of course.
Think about if you have no clue of how hard it is to get someone that's in this space to vouch for you or to tell you what their day is like, then it could be a very miserable job.
If you can't do that, man, I don't know what to tell you, my friend. No, you know what? I'm going to start telling people that if you could only talk to the people that are that come to us to get involved in our program, they need to hear some messages like this, because people assume things that just is so far from the reality of the work that's required that it baffles me. Okay, so let's hang out here. So I want to hear from you. I love the way you've been phrasing it so far, where you're really giving us the characteristic traits that you look for to assess, is this person the right person for the job? But I want to hear from you a little bit more specificity around type of roles they're coming from. You know, right now, TJ, so far, what types of jobs do green people that you've hired have that you've seen lend to success, where you're like, wow, they have no medical sales experience, but because of the nature of this field they're coming from, this type of person repeatedly seems to deliver once they get into medical sales. Is there any space you could speak to that's like that?
Former college athletes.
Former college athletes, okay.
Former professional athletes.
Okay.
And I can go into why. In terms of direct career paths, I've seen people that have come from enterprise rental car that just do great for whatever reason. Is the training that they go through. Beyond that, anyone that has a history of building relationships routinely, it lends themselves to being able to get into this space. Because if we're honest about how a lot of people get in with untraditional backgrounds, it's either because they have a parent, a relative that can help connect those dots to get them exposure to people that they probably wouldn't normally get exposure to. And they're able to build that relationship over time. So people ask, oh, how'd you get into pharmaceuticals? Met someone at Northwestern when I got onto the basketball team that had a brother-in-law that was a sales leader for J&J.
Sure.
But how did I get awareness of pharmaceutical sales? My mom's been a pharmaceutical sales rep for 25 plus years,
sure.
Which is during the time that I was going through the process. Sure. She told me the exact questions to ask. She modeled what it looks like to be a rep. So I was green from a professional standpoint, but I had far more knowledge and far more resources than the average person graduating from college when it came to an interview.
Yeah.
So I wasn't green. I was a first round draft pick, first overall when it came to showing up to that interview, even though I was uncomfortable and I didn't necessarily know what to expect, but I had far more access and awareness to the career because I got to see it from the time I was, 13, 14 up into the time of that interview.
Okay. Thank you for that. I hope you're enjoying today's episode. And I want to let you know our programs cover the entire career of a medical sales professional. From getting into the medical sales industry, to training on how to be a top performer in the medical sales industry, to masterfully navigating your career to executive level leadership. These programs are personalized and customized for your specific career and background, and trained by over 50 experts, including surgeons. Our results speak for ourselves, and we're landing positions for our candidates in less than 120 days in top medical technology companies like Stryker, Medtronic, Merck, Abbott, you name it. Would you run an Ironman race without training and a strategy? You wouldn't. So why are you trying to do the same with a medical sales position? You need training, you need a strategy, and you need to visit evolveyoursuccess.com, fill out the application, schedule some time with one of our account executives, and let's get you into the position that you've always dreamed of. Let's have a little bit more fun. So I'm gonna give you a scenario now. I'm gonna give you a career, and and you and I together, we're gonna define what needs to be seen from this type of career to qualify to even be considered for TJ's team. So I'm a server at a restaurant. This is a high-end restaurant, a lot of traffic. I mean, it's just a busy place. And you've been there a few times and you've been like, wow, the waitresses here, I commend them because this is a zoo and they somehow get it done. And now I want to be on your team. What do I need to show you that would make you feel comfortable to even consider me for a spot on your team?
Two things. The number one thing is showing growth from when you came to where you're at now. And then a key relationship that helps extend me being able to see you build beyond the space that you're in. So for me to go from sales rep to sales leader, somebody had to say, oh, I could see this person going beyond the lab, beyond the OR, and having a C-suite conversation.
Sure.
I got to be able to see that. How can I show that I'm connecting those dots?
So something like, we're just making stuff up, but like restaurant waitress level 1, and you want to see did I he or she get to waitress level 3?
Yep. And then what does that mean specifically in terms of the type of clientele I was able to grow, the relationships I was able to maintain? Oh yeah, by the way, so many med device companies and so many pharmaceutical companies rented out our private room, and I got to know XYZ company, including your company. Do you happen to know XYZ rep? And as a hiring manager, maybe I don't know that rep. Doesn't matter. But now I see you understand how does somebody, and I call it a strong night game, how does somebody extend to sell outside of the OR or lab? They put together a program, they're bringing in physicians. In that process, they're getting people to a space where they are open to considering something new and getting them to be in a space where there's hospitality that allows us to sell.
Okay, so let's pretend I got it. So, and I said waitress, that's a he or she. Okay, a waitress. So we're talking about a female. So let's pretend, this waitress, she totally went from level 1 to level 3. I mean, record time too. And this level 3 has all this additional responsibilities, and she has to see a different type of clientele. And because she got to level 3, she's actually been responsible for setting up the room for a number of dinner programs. And she's even had the opportunity to sit in a few and gotten to see how physicians interact and how the reps facilitate the entire event. What else do you need to see from her to feel even more comfortable that she might deserve, a serious consideration to be on your team?
Yep. That rep built those relationships with the people, and she learned something. She learned that these people plan and they're proactive versus reactive.
Wait, so you're saying you want this waitress to have a step to impress you. You would want to hear that this waitress found a way to establish a relationship with the reps that come to her restaurant to do dinner programs.
Yep. And then beyond that, she's able to highlight, here's some of the key lessons that I learned from those people. They're proactive, meaning I know when their next 2 or 3 events are because they proactively have scheduled them. Yeah. And I'm trying to understand how is the theme or what is the mission that you're on. And it's all about getting key people to hear this message from, maybe it's a speaker that the corporate parties have hired that represents that brand. Doesn't matter, but this person is taking key nuggets away from this industry. And the bonus, I asked them about this company in particular, and here's what they told me. They didn't know that I was looking at a job here. They said, this is where this company is strong, and here's what matters. Mr. or Mrs. Hiring Manager, how would you help develop someone that's entry level in their career so that not only do they know how to connect the dots, they again make it collaborative. They make it a two-way dialogue. Based on this information that I got, how do you see that fit into your culture or what it is you're looking to build on your team? And then how would you develop someone like me that wants to be like these people that I've seen at this restaurant?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So you're saying you'd want the waitress to take it as far as asking a rep or leadership that deals with the rep or works with the rep, how, if they were to work in that space, how they'd be developed?
I'm saying the person, that waiter or waitress, taking feedback from these top level reps and executives. Here's what I learned. Telling this hiring manager, here's what I learned, and here's what I heard about your company.
I see. So
how would you develop someone like me?
Tell you. Gotcha. Okay.
I want them to connect the dots to where I know, oh, this person they're entrenched in what it means.
They've went well above and beyond to find out what the heck is going on over here.
They did everything in their power to learn, to build relationships. They understand how to collaborate well with others.
Right.
And it's not just an interest in this career, because most people just want the job.
Right.
When someone said, well, hey, TJ, what would you like to be? And I tell them, hey, I would love to run a med device division or a med device company. For me to just go interview for the job, that's not going to be enough. I would have to have perspective, and I would have to have people that could help shape my vantage point to where now I'm telling the story about, here's what I've uncovered. What is it that you guys want for somebody that would be in this type of role? Sure. And that's where that two-way dialogue is not just me saying what I want. Right. I need to know, what do you guys believe? What is your religion? What's your religion?
Yeah. No, I get it. Okay. So what else? Anything else? So let's pretend that the waitress had that as well. She not only befriended the reps, she befriended the reps managers that came to the event. She got deep into the products, how it's utilized. I mean, she knows the business. What else do you need to feel comfortable?
Now that person feels comfortable having a two-way dialogue, I feel comfortable probing a little bit more and really understanding what their motivation is and what they see as the benefit of
So let's talk about it. What motivation would you need to hear from this waitress to make you say, okay, this woman's selling me a bit because I like what I'm hearing?
They want to know. I want to know that they know the specifics of what they're getting into. So whether it's a strong culture, whether it's getting coached and developed, I want to hear them say something specific, because when you say something specific, now we can have a dialogue, just like what you're doing now. Right. You're undressing why?
Yeah.
What does this person need? Yeah. And why is this brilliant?
Right.
Because I know who your audience is. Your audience isn't CEOs.
Right.
Your audience isn't typically going to be sales leaders. Your audience is going to be people that are looking to make a name for themselves in the space or get in. That they're looking for perspective. So that's my job. How can I how can I open the hood to help people understand? Sure. Here's what people are actually looking for. They're looking for a dynamic individual that does two things. Number one, makes them look like, man, this person really knew how to look outside the box and bring someone. Number two, that was going to change the culture of their team in the most positive of ways.
Sure.
And how do we get that? You got to show us through the process that you have that type of ability on the front end. And some people are really good at it.
Yeah.
Some people are not. The people who are good at it usually get the job. The people who are not.
Well, the people that are not find programs and learn how, and then come back and get the job. So yeah.
Bingo.
I get it. Okay, so I'll beat the dead horse a little bit more. So with this waitress example, basically you're saying if you had a waitress that just really understood the business, took the time to develop relationships, could bring all that information to you, and even speak to what's important for your team, your company, maybe even some initiatives that the company is focusing on, some new areas to expand, some products that the company's focusing on, and they really had a clear understanding about all this, and they were able to clearly express it to you in an interview. Is it possible that this person could have as much of a chance on your team as someone that's experienced?
Yeah, 100%. And here's why. Because there's different levels of roles within the organization. So if you start looking at comp, there are some people, they have to have elevated comp because that's what their history has been. And for some, we can get them into a more on paper entry level role or on paper more green. But what we just described, somebody that's able to do all of these things, they're invaluable. They're worth their weight in gold. Why? Because they have growth mindset and they can tell you, here's where I've been, here's where I am, here's where I'm headed. That person that is willing to come in and be coached, that is willing to come in and be a blank canvas in terms of how they look at not just the business, but how they look at how they can influence healthcare in a different way. That person is probably one of the most valuable people ever. How do we know this? Every year we get excited when it's NFL or NBA or you name the sport that has a draft about who's going to be the next first pick, who's going to be the person that changes the way this franchise goes up. Who's going to be the Patrick Mahomes of this draft class? Who's going to be the Caitlin Clark of this draft class?
Right.
So as we start to think about it in those types of scenarios, or using sports as an example, that's what we want in the med device space. We want somebody that's shown that they've got some transferable skills and that they're going to come in and light up a room.
Right.
And there's some people that know how to do that naturally. There's some people that maybe have the technical skills, but they maybe are lacking that other piece. How do we get somebody that has the right blend of all of those qualities that's also willing to be coached? And you have to showcase that during the interview on the front end. And how do you do it? A lot of it is getting feedback and then asking questions. No different than what you're doing right now. Sure. You're like, wait, go back. So let's say we did this. Now what? Let's regurgitate that information and let's go a step deeper. So the candidates that's truly able to do that, what I found, they have relationships that give them inside information so that they know every step of the way how they're performing. And then they can apply those real world nuggets to their process so that they're a better candidate each and every step of the way. Sure. And you're always, as a new candidate, you're always on the interview. Sure. Every step of the way, you're on the interview. So the questions that we ask, what we showcase, what we repeat, all of that matters to the process.
Now, thank you for that. Think back to how long have you been a manager?
So dating back to when the pandemic hit. So we're talking 2020.
2020. Okay. So think back in your past 5 years. Can you recall something someone did after the interview that impressed you and led to you wanting to hire them?
Yeah, the most notable thing that I can think of is someone that took notes on what feedback or what coaching they got from me and from others. And they succinctly documented it and told a story around why that would help them continue to grow and evolve in their career.
So let's talk about it. So are you talking about they put that in the thank you letter, or are you talking about something a separate document?
They put it in the follow-up.
They put it in the follow. So put in the thank you letter that, based on what you shared with me, TJ, and everybody else that I've spoken to in this interview process, these are the things that would help me succeed in the role, or something else?
Yep. Help me succeed in the role, but already are helping me grow as a sales professional. And the reason why somebody having the ability to articulate and regurgitate that information is powerful. Well, think about the last time you had a meeting that was an hour, it was 15 minutes, it was 30 minutes, whatever the time frame, somebody that came up with the key action items, almost as if it was AI that spit out, here's the action item, here's the owner. It's rare. And when I see it happen, I'm still impressed, because a lot of times we'll have meetings or we'll have conversations, whether virtually or in person, and we land on, okay, we're just going to do this one thing. And it's like, well, we talked about a lot. Are we sure that it's just this one thing? And what's the sequence? So the people who can really break down, here are the key things. I've synthesized it. Here's what I would get out of it. Yeah. Here's why I'm excited to continue in the process. Yeah. That ability to offer feedback on the process is unique. And most people can only see it from one lens. And that's, hey, I'm excited to move forward. And
Right.
we talked about a lot. I'm eager to move forward. And it's like, okay, how do you separate from the masses? The masses don't do that. The masses are not as customized as you would think. A lot of them are, I got a template. I'm going to put your name at the top. I'm going to push a button and we're done. But that's what great sellers do. They're able to not only customize a process, they make it feel real. They make it feel authentic based on the thought that they put into whatever it is they're communicating.
I'm going to call this interview gold. Because we're dropping gold here, TJ. We're dropping gold for these folks. This is good stuff. And this is stuff that no one really talks about. The nuances and how you truly showcase how serious you're taking the opportunity and how intentional you are to a hiring manager like yourself to actually get access to an opportunity. So thank you for this. We're going to switch gears now. We're going to bring this to a close. This was amazing. Before we do, though, TJ, is there anything else you want to share with our audience that's listening right now?
No, the biggest thing that I would share is there's this societal push where we focus on efficiency. I'm going to ask everyone to stop. Just stop. Think about what it is you want to accomplish, and then give yourself 30, 90, or 120 days to do things the right way so that we can be effective. And whether we're talking about breaking into an industry or getting the job of your dreams or the career or the calling of your dreams, a lot of it comes down to taking a step back and not simply pushing apply. That's the number one thing that I hear people, oh yeah, I applied. The word is referred. But how do we get referred? It's building relationships on the front end. There's not this race to saw the job in Dallas or I saw the job in Chicago and I applied. The chances of getting a call back if you have no med device experience, slim. Why? Because there's hundreds of people that also fit that criteria, that their resume is just as good as everyone else's. And it's not that they saw your resume first, that you're going to get flagged as somebody that we should talk to. A lot of it is if you got referred, now you go on that short list. So that would be the thing. I know that there's somebody out there that's like, man, I've been at this for 2 years. I've been at this for longer even. And if the relationship piece isn't focal, go back and let's figure out how we can be more effective at building more authentic relationships. And it takes time. That'd be the last message that I would share.
That was fantastic, TJ. We're going to do one more thing before we close for today. It's called the lightning round. TJ, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. First question, I'm going to ask you 4 questions. You have less than 10 seconds to answer. First question is, what is the best book you've read in the last 6 months?
5 Types of Wealth by Sahil Bloom.
What was that about?
It talks about wealth being far more than dollars and cents.
Okay.
It talks about relationships. It talks about how we use our time.
And it talks about how to get these 5 types of wealth.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's cool. That's okay. That's going to be in the show notes, folks, and I'm going to have to read that myself. That's new to me. Okay. Best TV show or movie you've seen in the last 6 months?
Man, that one would be tough. My kids are on Sonic. They're 2 and 3. Outside of that, man, I don't get to watch as much TV as I would like anymore. So let's just go with Sonic.
All right. So, hey, it is what it is. That's very cool.
Lion King. I'll go Lion King.
Okay. Mufasa.
Yes.
Okay, Mufasa. You know what that was? I just saw that with my kids, and that was a good movie, man. That was a good movie. My goodness. All right. They delivered. Okay. So, third question, and I want the restaurant and the item. What is the best meal you've had in the last 6 months? And the location. Restaurant, item, location.
I hadn't been to my favorite sushi restaurant in Chicago in quite some time, but that's Union Sushi in River North.
Okay, Union Sushi in River. Give us your state. Union Sushi in River North.
Chicago.
River North, Chicago. Okay. Yep. Union Sushi. All right. Okay.
Man, all of the rolls there are really, really good. The appetizers are phenomenal. Okay. I'm big on shareable items.
Sure.
And having authentic and down-to-earth conversations. And that's the perfect ambiance
Oh,
to
that's
be in.
happening. Oh man, next time in Chicago, that is happening. Okay. And then last but not least, what is the best experience you've had in the last 6 months?
The best experience, I would say, my daughter recently turned 2, so we got
Oh
to
man.
celebrate her at the house. Had
Ah.
Elmo, and she requested Elmo. She didn't know we were going to make it happen, but was terrified of Elmo. So for me to have,
Oh, that's
to
great.
have those memories, that is worth its weight in
Oh
gold. To make
man.
sure that
Did you
people
guys
come
film
out.
it?
I mean, I have some
You have
video of
videos
it.
of
I
it?
have some
Okay.
pictures of it. She
That is
was having
awesome.
no parts of it whatsoever.
Never
She
again.
likes Elmo
Let's
on
cancel
YouTube.
that forever.
Yeah, YouTube Elmo is fine. In person
Right.
Elmo, not so
Keep
much.
him too deep. Keep him too deep.
Right.
That is fantastic. TJ, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for the time. The words of wisdom. I know the audience learned a lot.
No, Samuel, I really appreciate not only you having me on, but for you extending a lane to recruit top talent into an industry that needs it, man. We need people that are hungry, that want to see patients continue to grow and live more functional lives. So thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Till we meet again.
All right, Samuel, until we meet again, man, thank you.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And remember, I have a customized and personalized program that gets you into the medical technology industry as a sales professional, or any type of role for that matter. Become a top performer in your position and masterfully navigate your career to executive level leadership. Check out these programs and learn more at evolvesuccess.com by visiting our site, filling out an application, schedule some time with one of our account executives, and allowing us to get you where you need to be. Stay tuned for more awesome content with amazing interviews on the Medical Sales Podcast.